Okay, let's dive in. Today we're unpacking, well, a pretty huge philosophical concept.
Hmm.
The idea that space and time, the things we think are absolute constants, might actually be fundamentally illusory.
Yeah, it's a big one. We're looking at Anubhav Srivastava's Nothing, Everything, specifically that section called The Psychological Thriller of Existence.
Right. And it's presented as uh, quite ambitious, a logically airtight theory for everything, aligned with modern physics.
Exactly. Relativity, many worlds, the Big Bang, and critically, cosmic inflation. That's the bedrock.
Okay, so let's start there. Cosmic inflation. For this whole theory to even get off the ground, what does inflation tell us about, well, the universe's boundaries and its scale?
Well, what's really fascinating and kind of key here is that inflation suggests scale itself is entirely relative.
Relative how?
A universe can seem incredibly tiny from, let's say, an outside perspective, if such a thing even makes sense, while from the inside it's just vast, possibly infinite.
So space isn't like a big box everything sits in.
No, exactly. Space is local. It only really has meaning within the universe it helps define. It's generated from within.
Hmm. And that opens the door to, what? Nested universes.
Hmm.
Bubbles.
Potentially, yes. Places where our concept of scale just doesn't apply in the same way. This is where Srivastava brings in that really powerful analogy, the shrinking world.
Oh, yes, building in the subway. Walk us through that. It's meant to show how time can just disappear, right?
So picture yourself inside this enormous, incredibly detailed building. Maybe it feels endless. You're there for hours. Morning turns to noon, noon to afternoon. You experience time passing linearly.
Okay, standard experience.
But then you find an exit, maybe marked fire exit. You step through, and instantly, the entire massive structure you were just in collapses, shrinks down.
To what?
To like a tiny, shimmering, weightless object, small enough to hold in your hand, a perfect little model.
And the kicker, the part that really messes with your head.
The clock resets. The moment you step outside holding this tiny representation, it's 9:00 a.m. again. The hours you spent inside, gone.
The journey, the space you covered, it all just folds away. Time rewinds from the outside perspective.
Precisely. And the same idea applies to the subway analogy. Hours on a train, station to station, 9 a.m. becomes 2 p.m. You get off thinking you've traveled miles and hours.
And boom, back at the start, 9 a.m. again, holding a toy train set.
Exactly. This time reset is crucial. It shows the world you inhabited, the building, the subway was completely self-contained. It wasn't taking up space externally.
Because it was generating its own illusion of space and time internally, like a simulation or a projection.
Yeah, projection is a good word. Srivastava calls them holographic projections. They don't cast shadows. They don't need physical containment.
So if you can have infinite versions of these projections, buildings, subways, maybe entire universes, each one perfect and self-contained, taking up no external space or time, what's the source? Where do they come from?
And that leads directly to the core concept, nothing, everything.
Which isn't a thing in the usual sense.
No, not at all. It occupies no space, no time. It's not located anywhere. It's pure, limitless potential. The generator of all these infinite self-contained projections. Step outside the projection.
And it all collapses back to potential.
Okay, all right.
Now, this is where it gets really wild for me. The relationship between our experience of time and simultaneity. Inside our universe, our projection, everything seems causal. Past, present, future. A leads to B.
Ironclad rules, it feels like.
But outside, none of that applies.
According to the theory, no. Outside, there's just this limitless potential, which means all these projections, the building, the subway, your life, my life, our entire universe, they aren't happening one after the other.
They exist simultaneously.
Simultaneously, like layers within a vast, complex hologram. Our universe is just one specific holographic manifestation. It feels ancient and huge from our perspective inside it.
But from the outside, it's just one timeless, shimmering possibility among infinite others.
Exactly. Space and time are necessary features for the projection, for the observers within it. They make it feel real to us.
Which brings us to the final point. The observer. Us. You. If the projection creates its own space and time, what about consciousness?
Well, the observer isn't separate. You, the person experiencing this reality, your consciousness arises from the interactions within that specific projection.
So we're part of the illusion, or rather, part of the mechanism that makes the projection real to itself.
You could put it that way, yeah. We arise with the manifestation. We're not looking at it from outside. We're intrinsically part of it. The illusion is perfect because the observer is generated by it.
Okay, so wrapping this up, Srivastava's core idea is that our reality, our physical universe, is essentially a self-contained, timeless, holographic projection, born from limitless potential, nothing everything.
That's the essence of it. Vast from the inside, but just one potentiality from the outside.
So here's something to really mull over. If your entire universe, everything you perceive, all its history and future, is just one snapshot, one layer in this infinite hologram, what does past or future even mean beyond your specific viewpoint?
Right. And if your consciousness isn't separate from that snapshot, what does that ultimately say about who or what you fundamentally are?
Definitely food for thought.